Welcome to Daddy's Podcast.
This is the Redefining Plastics Podcast. Welcome to the Redefining Plastics Podcast. My name is Justin Riney. We've got Samantha Ryan again. She's back from a short hiatus last week. And then we also have Michael Workman with Resin Smart by RTI. I only practiced that about 30 times before we got on here, and I still almost screwed it up. That shows you how little learning is taking place in me doing podcasting on a weekly basis. I still am figuring out all the details. But anyway, we're excited to have you, first and foremost. I know Sam's known you longer than I have, as you all had worked together on something in the past. I'm not entirely sure what it was. But...
Just meeting at conferences, I think.
Okay.
Just, yeah.
All right. But I came to find out who you were through LinkedIn. And I saw what you were doing with, it's a monthly show. Is that kind of what you're doing on resin markets? Or are you trying to do a little more than that? Or why don't you give the audience a little who you are and what you're doing, and then talk a little bit about the show that you're doing?
Yeah, absolutely, Justin. And I appreciate the opportunity to come on here. And by the way, I couldn't tell that you'd practiced that 30 times, man. You hit the nail on the head, right? From my standpoint, that was very well done. But listen, I've checked into your podcast, and I love it, and I really appreciate the opportunity to join the conversation today. We're certainly being a lot more active on social media. I lead the growth efforts here at Resin Smart, powered by RTI. And that RTI, our company, 1998, two guys, they had been buying plastics for years. Little company here in DFW, making pet kennel crates out of polyolefin. Their experience there in terms of how they were struggling in the market and, going out and competing and getting their butts kicked by a competitor, and kind of getting into the whole idea of, I need to look and make sure I'm paying the right price for plastics. And that whole experience,
90% of your cost, right? So if you're not buying it well, you're not competing.
Yeah, if it's 85, 90, 95% of your cost, you got to really have your ducks in a row. And they found out that they didn't. And that was back in 1998, where the world was a different place. No internet, no way to track, how you're doing in purchasing. And, so the company started then, and fast forward to now, we're trying to do some different things in terms of educating the market and helping people buy better with both the tools as well as the experience that we bring. And to answer your question about our show, we do have a weekly show that, quick snippet on the market that I lead. And then every month we're, bringing on some folks to talk about topics that plastic procurement organizations talk about. We just finished a chat on sustainability, which I know is near and dear to your heart, Justin.
Yeah. And Sam. Yeah.
And Sam, of course, with the whole, with what you're doing with Direct and Brave. So, at the end of the day, we're here to help people. And the way that we've helped people forever is to help them buy better. That can mean a whole lot of different things, but it's about getting better every day in doing that.
So is it mostly just market driven, talking about forces and things like that? Because I know what the show is, but I want you to explain to the folks that maybe aren't familiar with the show, like exactly what you're doing, and maybe how to get in touch with you to find that, I think is also helpful.
Yeah. Thank you for that. And to find us right now, we're on YouTube. We're all over LinkedIn.
I'm not following you on YouTube, by the way. I need to remedy that, so I'm going to subscribe after this.
We're in I appreciate that. We're still growing that list. We're about to go on Transistor, which will get us everywhere, as I'm being told. Again, getting better every day. I'm getting better every day with this social media marketing thing. But
it's a long journey, man. There's a lot to it. And I'm an older millennial. And I am the exact opposite of most millennials. I don't really know computers very well. I really don't know social media. So I am like learning as I'm flying this freaking plane, man. And that's why we got Sam to help too, because she's way better at that than I am.
Yeah.
Like way better at that.
I know social media. I don't really know
Yeah.
computers, clearly, when I
Well,
was setting up my podcast equipment.
We've got you hooked up to like 16 different things with cameras going in. And that's complicated for anybody. I don't care if you're like a 7-year-old
Well, I think
that's
it's
on
hard
computer.
because social media is constantly like changing. So it's like if you didn't know it before, you're not going to know it now.
Yeah.
It's like so hard to keep up.
It's incredibly hard to keep up.
Especially when you're old like us, right?
Especially when you're old. It's right. That's exactly right.
Yeah.
Just to answer your question, Justin, on the show, what we try to talk about is what's happened the week prior in the big resin families, polyethylene, polypropylene, polystyrene, PVC, PET, and the nylons, engineered grades. There's a lot of things that affect the markets, and it can be a full-time job for a whole team and a whole organization to keep track of all those disparate and asynchronous data sources that affect the market.
Mm-hmm.
And there are some good folks out there that are trying to keep track of what's happening and reporting on price. I won't get in on this podcast, but some of those, we got to just be careful and trust but verify the data that we look at. And that's what we try to do. We try to cut through the noise, give folks that are buyers of plastic, both virgin prime as well as the pencil prime all the way to recycle. We try to give them actionable insight on what to do, what's happened, and how that'll affect your business, really with the whole 30, 60, 90-day outlook fresh in mind.
Yeah, I think you nailed it. There's so many different sources of information. Like you got ISIS, you got whatever IHS calls itself now. You've got Plastics News tries to do a index marker. Every one of those guys do the best that they can with the information that they have, but everybody's playing them in some way, shape, or form. Because if I went out and I negotiated a 3-cent savings versus the index, I'm sure as hell not going to tell IHS that.
Right.
Because then what does that do? That's going to make the market go down 3 cents. And then I don't get that cost savings that I just negotiated. So you kind of have to read between the lines if you're those guys, and they do a pretty good job. But they don't know everything. And so when you don't look at the big picture, like all the feedstock costs and everything else that are going on, you're only getting a part of the story, and you're not as good as you can be. And to your point, a lot of these small players, whoever's buying the resin probably has like 7 other jobs. And like, how do you spend enough time to know all of those pieces? So I think that's where your company and what you're doing is a huge value. Because I was a buyer for a long time. I bought polyethylene, polypropylene, polystyrene, ABS, colorants, engineered resins, all at the same time. It's hard to be a market expert on every single one of those things. So you kind of need other sources to give you information. And I was in a big company with access to all those things. You can only imagine a smaller player doesn't have access to all the information that I did and was still trying to do all of those things. So I'm a huge fan of what you're doing. And honestly, the reason why I wanted to reach out and have you on the show is because I just like the fact that you're talking about plastics publicly, and it's not about how it's killing us. And it's a big deal for me. Like whenever somebody is positively talking about our industry and doing it publicly, I want to highlight that because I don't think enough of us are out here fighting the fight. And you're doing it in a different way than Sam and I are, but it's important. It's important to have people that are talking about our industry and all the good that it does and helping people. I'm a huge fan of that. So that's why I wanted to make sure that at least what little platform we have, you have as well. And that's why I wanted to make sure that we connected. So all that to say, we had a pre-call. We had a great discussion about a lot of different things. And there were so many different ways we could have taken this discussion. But you've been in sales for a long time. I've been in sales for a long time. I was in procurement for a long time, so I know kind of what procurement people are looking for. And Sam is just getting into sales. And she's been in sales for a while, right? Because your previous role, you did sales for a couple of years.
Yeah, I was doing recruiting right
Yeah.
outside of college, and then I did, my last job was sales. So I guess it's different.
Yeah. It's a different
market.
sale, but once you learn the skills, you can translate those skills to any sales organization, really. You can sell anything. You
Yeah.
can sell widgets, you can sell plastic, whatever. But the conversation we had is there are a lot of other people that are even younger than Sam, that are just getting into the business, that don't really know a lot about how to sell, who to contact, and like all the stuff that Sam's learned over the last couple of years, there's no playbook for it. And so what we wanted to do is we kind of wanted to set the stage of, all right, you're new to plastics. You're new to getting into sales. How do you do that? Like, where do you start? Who do you talk to? All of that kind of stuff. And it's not necessarily like, hey, we're here to teach Sam, because Sam's already learning a lot of this stuff and already has learned a lot of this stuff. But I'm talking about like anybody her generation or even younger that are just trying to jump into this business. How do you start? And I think that's kind of where we wanted to have this conversation today. And so why don't you tell everybody a little bit about your background, Michael, from a sales perspective, so we can kind of set the stage, and then we can dig into like cold calling, who do you target, how do you target, all that kind of stuff. I think that would be helpful for everybody.
Yeah, Justin, thanks. And happy to do that. It's a very humble origin story.
We all have them.
Yeah,
I got a history degree, and somehow people are listening to me talk about plastics. It doesn't make any sense to me. It really doesn't.
Listen, and you know, I feel very humbled to be a part of this conversation, because I've been very fortunate to meet, network with a lot of really great sales professionals that have, you know, been a huge part of my journey. You know, just the quick origin story. You asked me, you know, my background. You know, I was a chemical engineer, University of Michigan. That's why you hear me talk about getting better every day. I'm a Jim Harbaugh guy. That's just who I am.
Still, even after he left you?
Even after he left, man, he won us a title. We could talk about sign stealing and all that stuff.
I wasn't going to bring it up, but
well, yeah, I think they're going to give us a little wrist slap on Friday when they announce that. But you know, I was a chemical engineer, and thought I was going to go work for Schlumberger in an oil field somewhere, and you know, that was going to be my life. But I had a great opportunity. A company called Poly One was looking for technical sales engineers, and you know, thinking, hey, we're going to hire somebody technical. We could teach them the whole sales thing, and I was
they
really
promptly didn't teach you anything. That's typically how the sales organization works, though, right?
In fairness to them, this was a very new program. It was, you know, just getting started. I think you had some fancy acronym. It was a great idea, and you know, and so I started. But yeah, I wasn't fully built out yet, and you know, my leadership at the time, I learned a lot from. But they were used to managing a kid right out of school, and so it was very much here are the keys to your company car. Here's the aggregated list of accounts that nobody else on the team wanted, or didn't pay their bills, or were in a part of town that nobody wanted to go see. And so it's not
a fun place to travel usually. The plants or the customers that the other people don't want is usually in some town that nobody wants to travel to. And then that's what you get to do for the first couple of years you're out of school.
That's what you do. I did have the benefit of being in California. So like, geography.
I grew up around California. So I was born in Illinois, but I spent most of my childhood in California. I can tell you, there are a lot of places in Northern California I don't want to ever go to again. Like,
man.
I don't want to burn myself too much, but if I never have to go to Fresno again, I'm pretty happy. Or Bakersfield, Palmdale.
Modesto, Chowchilla.
I lived in Stockton. That's where I went to high school. So Modesto is close to my heart. But yeah, it's not great places. You don't really want to travel there. But,
well, listen, most of mine was in SoCal to start with, but you know, but you're right. You're in manufacturing areas, and it, you know, it was a way for me to get started. And I learned very quickly that Thankfully I am wired as you got to do and then learn from your failures.
Yeah.
So, that was a perfect way to it was sink or swim, but for me, it was building a network, right? Building a network within the team of folks that I could ask questions to. Your relationship with your manager is certainly a really valuable one, but there's certain things you're learning how to sell that you can't ask your manager. You got to build that foundational team, and they don't have to all work at the same company. It can be a network.
That's a good point. Yeah.
And then sales process. The thing that was really good about what PolyOne had put in place was they had their customer-centric sales process, right? It all starts with relationships, that's still how I sell. You got to connect authentically with.
You got to take donuts with you. So Sam's really good at that. She's really good at sending cupcakes, treats, like the personal touch. Like that's a huge deal.
Mm-hmm.
And so I want to backtrack just a second because you said you got to build your network. How do you build your network? Like, I think that's one thing that a lot of people struggle with, specifically younger generations. Can I tell how I built mine?
Can I give what I did? I feel like I have
go ahead.
A network.
Yeah, let's talk through it.
I feel like also, I don't know if this would be relatable for somebody getting right into the industry, because a big part of mine, I guess so, was just being really active on LinkedIn. And that's where I got a lot of my sales from. LinkedIn Sales Navigator is super helpful because you can search by
I've never used
the
it.
job.
You liked it though?
Yeah, it's you can search what company, and then you can search by job title. So I would search for the exact person I needed to talk to, connect with them, and then I would either send them a message or I could find their email that way. And personally, one, I don't like cold calling, but secondly, I never found it could work for me. Myself, I never answer a cold call, or if I do, I hang up right away. But if someone sends me an email, I'll usually read it. I'll never just skip through it, whatever. So I just would go through LinkedIn, and you can only connect with I think it's 200 people a week.
Yeah. Really?
I would hit that in 3 days. Yeah,
I'm learning a lot
because it's
here.
not normal to do that. You probably shouldn't. Yeah.
So you're obviously cold calling, or you're obviously reaching out to people.
So I would and then you can go to one person's page, and then on the right, it's more people kind of like this or something like that. And I would just connect with everybody. I would send them a message introduce myself sort of. And then it was kind of even before I met Mike, I think I kind of met a lot of my people through Mitchell. So I guess but he was a connection, I guess.
Yeah, that's part of your network. Yeah.
I knew a lot of the people who I've met in person now just through LinkedIn. It was we just started commenting on each other's posts. And it's you feel like you're friends, but you never got introduced even through the computer, So that's how I kind of did it. I feel was just go on LinkedIn and even the people I connected with who I really didn't know, but they were in the same industry. I would go their post or comment on their post or kind of just so they knew my name, they would see my name. And then a lot of the people, you can see who views your page on LinkedIn.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of the people who I would comment on, I would go to my viewers and they had viewed my page shortly after. So it's even if you just say oh, love this, or good tip, or happy birthday, or whatever, I feel they'll see your name, and then they see it here and here and here. So then when I do send that email, they kind of know who I am.
It's great.
Or they recognize my name.
It's you're setting the stage before.
Yeah, it's kind of you're flirting a little bit, and then you ask them out.
I like that approach. Yeah.
You're kind of easing into it, and then you text them.
I was never good at that, which is probably why I really sucked at cold calling.
Maybe.
That was never my skill set.
But that's I would love to hear how you built your network, though, Mike, because it might have been different, when you were starting out. I
think she almost just said, "Hey, boomer."
When you,
why don't you tell me
back in that day.
My ears receding a little bit. Luckily, I think you're definitely right with that. But before I will give you some of that from the old times. But I wanted to say something real quick about LinkedIn, because I have recently, like in the last 4 or 5 years, started to use LinkedIn Sales Navigator and some of those tools. You're spot on with the fact that on the Sales Nav specifically, it can really help you find the appropriate titles and roles that you need to speak with in an organization, because as we know, there's a lot of change in organizations. It can be hard to keep track of who to talk to, or is
Can we
building.
recommend this to like freight brokers so they can stop sending me messages about logistics?
Yeah.
That would be a great recommendation to get them diverted, their attention and energy elsewhere, right?
Yeah.
For sure. I would say the other thing that you brought up that's really powerful, though, that I've been doing even more of in the last few months, is the engagement piece.
Yeah. It's a huge deal.
It's talking on the comments, right? It's and back to your point, Justin, earlier about, let's talk about plastics in a way that is not negative. And finding those folks on the internet, and thankfully there's a great community on LinkedIn that's building in that regard. You can find out real quickly like who's of like mind, and be able to make connections that way. Couldn't agree more with that. I didn't have LinkedIn when I first started. Well, at least it wasn't in the same tool set. For me, it was getting out there and going to physical events.
Going to the events more so than like physical cold calling too. Like you went above and beyond to events.
I definitely, to build that network, the easiest way to be concentrated with that was it was the Medical Device and Manufacturing Show in Anaheim. If you didn't have to be in the medical industry, anybody in plastics west of the Mississippi was at that show every February. So it was going to that show and spending the entire 2.5 days talking and meeting to as many people as you can. You obviously want to talk to clients, and there's the tools that are available to kind of help you find not only the person, but the account have gotten a lot better over the years. But you talk to everybody in the industry. You talk to the machine guys, the folks that are providing services like what we do now at Resin Smart. If you're building those relationships, you're going to learn just by osmosis on the industry itself, which is a huge part of being successful in sales, is having that depth of experience in the products. But then you're meeting all these people. Who knows who they refer you to, right? I mean, it can really snowball in a very positive way. So I would go to those shows. I was part of SPE. I still am, Society of Plastics Engineers. I hear
good things about those events. Like, I'm not an engineer, so I'm not a part of it, but a lot of engineers that I talk to say that those are huge. Like you get really good connections, not just from like, who can I sell to, but just knowledge base. Like somebody, if you have a question about a certain thing and you don't feel comfortable talking to your boss about, you reach out to a colleague that you met through that, and they can help you along. I'm huge into those kind of organizations. I think that's great for people starting out.
There's a blow molding show that SP's putting on in a couple of weeks in Pittsburgh. We're going to be there, right? It's like another one of those, here's another way for us to talk about anybody that's in that particular segment. And some of those folks buy a lot of polyethylene, they might be able to help them. So yeah, I don't know, Sam, it's network, right? It's building network. For me, it was in person. It's over the phone and, cold calls. For me, I did struggle with that for a while until two things happened. One, I felt confident enough that I knew enough about materials, the industry, or the particular prospect. Like I felt confident that I was going to be able to say and answer questions. And then, but the bigger thing was, what's the worst thing that can happen?
Yeah.
Right.
Like you're never going to see these people again.
And a lot of times Mitch would always say to me, that
Mitch Best, by the way, I listened to one of our other episodes, and we throw names around a lot, and then people are like, "Who the hell
Mitch
are they
Best,
talking about?"
who,
Mitch Best, Direct
works-
Polymers,
yes.
your brother-in-law.
Yes. He would always say to me in like this kind of sales, like you said, yeah, like the worst thing you can do is like hang up on you, like, okay. But also a lot of the time he said like most of the time, like they want to hear from you. Like the reason you're calling, it's not like it's just like you're trying to sell like a product or I guess you are, but like it's not like a cold call when we get for like something that it would cost you a bunch of money. Like usually they want to hear from you because it's something that will interest them, which will end up making them money.
Yeah.
So he's like a lot of the time
save them money. Like
right. So a lot of the
doing,
time,
yeah,
it's like they want to hear from you. It's just like, how do you, in that first 10 seconds of talking to them, are you going to get that through their head that like, no, like you actually do want to talk to me. Like, I'm not just trying to like get you to buy something. So that
if
kind
anything,
of helps
I'm
too.
trying to buy something from you.
Right.
Like,
That's what
if
I
you're a
mean. It's like, I'm just trying to do business together. I'm not trying to just call you and sell you like this like new freaking computer or something stupid. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not like an infomercial. Like, I'm just literally trying to like help you out. And if you hang up, then like, okay, I'll just call the next guy.
I think that's a good point, though. I think specifically if you position yourself as a problem solver, even if you're selling a computer, but then you're talking to them like you're a problem solver, that's a big deal. Because then you immediately cut down defenses where they're not like, this is somebody trying to sell me something. It's like, hey, I just want to talk to you. Do you having any problems with this? Are you struggling with that? Obviously, there's a better way of saying it, which is why I'm not good at this. Like there's so many different ways that you can keep the conversation going before you get to the no.
But I do think that how Mike, you said that it's easier when you're way more confident. And I think that's why it was kind of trickier for me when I first started, because it's like cold calling in general is kind of humbling. But then it's like, if you really don't know what you're talking about, like you're going to get humbled even more because they're going to be like, you don't know what you're talking about. And then you're like, okay, you didn't have to like call me out like that. Like, I'm just trying to learn.
Yeah.
So it's like when you don't know, it's way worse. But I feel like if you were cold calling on something you're an expert on, it's like, it just feels like you're just like calling to chat, really, not even sell or make business.
So Sam, you've said before that when you started, there was no book. There was no Quizlet. You've said that before several times.
Yeah.
So I think that's something that a lot of people struggle with when they start in a new organization, new industry, new whatever. So Michael, from your perspective, how do you get that? Like, how do you get the product knowledge, the base understanding so you can get that confidence to have that conversation with people? I think that's the missing piece for a lot of people. I look at everybody else, they know everything about these products. I don't even know where to begin. Like, where did you begin? Like, how did that start for you where you started to learn about the industry?
Yeah, great question and spot on. I mean, it's different now. When I was starting, it was talking to, our scientists, talking to, when I worked on the compounding side, it was talking to the people that were formulating the materials, asking them questions about the resins. Before that, it was talking to, my teammates that had been selling for a lot longer some of them longer than I'd been alive at that point, and pulling out just, the little nuggets on what, difference between linear low and, why that exists versus low density. And for me, it was stacking all that stuff up over time. They did have a lot of literature. You had to go ask this person for this piece because
there are physical books from like 40 years ago that are floating around in some organizations.
Physical books or even parts of those books taken and putting into PowerPoint decks, like very old PowerPoint decks that are out there in certain organizations. Things have gotten a lot more sophisticated with different tool options. Now there's some really good stuff on LinkedIn. A couple of technical folks that I follow on there. Reddit is actually a very interesting place to go look through and there's the injection molding subreddit. There's a materials subreddit. you can learn some things on there. There is a whole host of information on the internet. There's certain sources that I'd kind of steer towards versus others, but
You're
yeah,
like the exact opposite part of the internet. I'm always on the parts of like everybody that hates us because I want to know I want to know where the zeitgeist is.
right.
But like, yeah, there are those things out there. But I think what it comes down to, and what you've mentioned a lot, Michael, is like mentors. Finding the right kind of mentor. Like Sam's got some good ones. Like the people that she works with, great people, really want you to be successful. The people that I worked with when I started off, wonderful mentors that were very patient with me, that answered a ton of questions. I'm sure you had a mentor. Do you want to talk a little bit about like how you got started with that, and like who you really hung on to teach you, to give you the ropes? Because I think it's key. I really do.
Yeah, I mean, there's certainly not just any one mentor. Like I tried to take something constructive from everybody that I interfaced with, but there's a couple folks that stand out. Oh, there's a seller that I used to work with. He's since retired. His name's Jeff Maloney. He's a legend on the West Coast in the industry. Worked for GE Plastics, worked for Poly One for a long time. His whole thing was very technical. He knew his products. He knew the nuances. He tracked the feedstocks. He knew the differences between very specific resins. You need the type of flame retardant, ammonium trioxide. And we're all talking a lot about that these days with what's happening with China. But he knew stuff even deeper than that. And I just saw how he approached his sales calls. It was very much, to your point earlier, right? I'm here to add value technically to your organization and help you select the right materials, help you save money. It was really incredible to watch, and then to try to emulate my own style on those calls. Also very fortunate enough to work for some great leaders that, really taught me the importance of the sales process, right? Because, and I say this a lot, sales is one word for, folks that are bringing in revenue in the organizations, but there's so much nuance on what that actually looks like from a sales process standpoint. Account management versus business development, incentive structures, the behaviors, the processes are all different. And so I think, and I know we haven't talked about this yet, but I had mentors that helped me really articulate that so that I understood it, so that I could focus on the right inputs for the output of a sale.
Mm-hmm.
And if you don't know the inputs and that they're different for the particular role you have, that's another great reason to just be asking a lot of questions to your network and mentors. They can help you.
So I come out of a long history of corporate. Like I've worked for so many different corporate organizations. And even in the 20 years that I've been in industry of some shape or form, it has changed a ton. There are less people doing more work now than ever before. And people have a lot less disposable time to spend with people. And I think it's probably a more stressful conversation and way to approach to find a mentor now than there ever has been. I don't know if that's true. I just feel like it's true. Like there are less people with less time. So it's almost intimidating to go up to somebody and say, I really want to learn from you. You're great at what you do. I just want to understand how you got where you're at. Can you help me? Can you help me start out? That's a tough conversation.
I mean,
it's a
I feel
vulnerable
like
conversation.
if I didn't even have Mitchell, shout out Alex's mom.
Yeah, Alex is great.
When we were in Denver last week, Mitchell's busy. I mean, you guys both know, like, he has 2 kids at home. Even just work in general, like, we'll be on the phone and then he gets a call and then he has to hang up and then it's like I don't hear from him till the next day. So it's like
It's not just you. He does that to me every
No,
time.
I know, but like Yeah, he has ADHD, but
Yeah.
I respect like the grind and like I like know he's busy. So it's like sometimes it's like I don't want to be like he has not better things to do, but other things to do.
Yeah. That's a good way of putting it.
That are more time sensitive. So I was really excited when I had some downtime with Alex last week, and he was so nice. He was like, no, like ask me literally anything. Like it won't be stupid.
Yeah.
And then now we have 2 hours a week where one session we're just going over like I've had people DMing, messaging me on. Sorry guys, I'm like in the DMing.
No. Yeah.
Okay.
We're not that old, Sam.
No, I know, but it's
We're
not
old.
called DMing on LinkedIn. It's like
whatever.
Messaging
It's
me on LinkedIn with like opportunities. And it's
Yeah.
like I'm kind of at the stage where I'm like, okay, what can I do with this? And that's really great, really awesome that it's like now you're at the point where you have people coming to you. So it's like I have 1 hour a week when I can sit down with Alex and kind of go through those opportunities. And I'm like, do you have anything for this? What can I do with this? And then the other hour of the week, we're going through material training. So
That's
Mitchell, a long time ago, made a Quizlet, or not a Quizlet. He made a little sheet, like a cheat sheet of the whole process of like he literally defined freight in there, like literally every single thing that you would ask a question on. And I made it into a Quizlet for myself. So I think that you make a good point of it's almost these days, it's like you almost, in my case, I felt bad because I was like, I know all these people are so busy and they have not only like their work life, but like now that so many people work remote, it's like they kind of mix their work life with like their parent life. So it's like you never know when someone's available. So it's like, how can I ask somebody to carve out even more of their life to just help me out when like that's not necessarily like they don't have to do that. So I think that's true too, is that it's hard to put yourself in a position where you're comfortable enough to ask somebody to, kind of like
did you
go
ask
under
him or did he
Alex?
approach you?
He
I think that's
approached me.
Yeah, see, and that's key because
Actually, I didn't think about
he
that.
went out of his way because he knows.
Yeah.
And the reason why
But
I asked
Alex
that question
really wants me to succeed.
exactly,
Yeah.
and that's where I'm going with this because the only reason why anybody spent time with me, and I think it's probably the same for you, Michael, is that you showed that you gave a damn. You really wanted to learn, and you were open to asking questions, and that you showed that you were really interested in whatever it is that person knows. And if you don't show that overtly to people around you, nobody's going to take the time to have these conversations with you. So you have to show you have a passion for whatever it is that you're trying to learn and that you really want to be successful. If you don't do those two things, there's probably not going to be a lot of people that are lining up to mentor you. And like I've told you in the past, Sam, that I would be more than happy to spend time with you. I'm running a job that's like 4 people, single dad with 2 kids, but I see the passion that you want to grow and you want to learn. And there are very few people out there that show that in a way that draws people in, that they want to help. Like they're going out of their way to help.
But do you think that there's also very few people that would put out a helping hand to those who care so much?
I'd like to think no. I don't know, Michael.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Yeah.
Well, you took the words out of my mouth, Justin. I mean, I think the secret, and it's not going to be a secret anymore for anybody that listens here, to asking for a mentor is you show that you give a damn.
Yeah.
Show that you put in the effort with how you position the ask. Hey, I've been trying this and it's not working for me. And, it's X amount. And I've noticed that you are doing
Really
a great
good at
job with it.
Yeah.
So,
Thanks.
I think it's all about how you frame it.
Mm-hmm.
And if you are coming at it from a position where you're being genuine and you're authentically passionate about, to your point, Justin, about what you're trying to do, and if you can come with what you tried and hasn't worked, if that person isn't willing to help you at that point, then they're probably not the kind of person that's going to help anyone.
Yeah.
And
I honestly think there are a lot of people in this industry that want to help, And the only reason why I say that, that's personal experience, though.
Mm-hmm.
Because I had a ton of people pour into my career early on. And so I'm sure there are other people that have different personalities than I do that aren't as open and as communicative as I am, that probably would have a different answer. They would probably say, he says that all these people want to help, but I haven't seen that. So I think there's part of it that's like personality and time and just the right location at the right time with the right people. So I guess what I'm saying is I was lucky that I had the right people around me at the right time. Otherwise, I would have been a failure because I didn't know a damn thing about plastics. I still feel like I don't know a damn thing about plastics, and I'm learning every single day.
Yeah.
And so I think there are a lot of people in this industry. And if you just look around you right now, let's just talk about you right now. The people that are around you want you to succeed. Every single one of those people want you to succeed. And you are succeeding because you're surrounded by good people that really want you to. I don't know if that's the case everywhere. I can't say that for a fact, but I think it is.
I would agree with that. It's about the people you surround yourself with that can uplift you.
No, I think that's true. I also, I don't know if you saw my LinkedIn post from my trip to Denver, but
I did.
It was, it's always funny when I go to like those, not trips, but I'm sitting at that table.
I love that it was a bunch of dudes and then Sam right in the
that's
center.
what I was going to say.
Yeah.
Which is like, honestly, I love it because I'm like, I feel like pretty
You're
cool.
everybody's sister, and they're all going to look out
or
for
like
you.
daughter, they're kind of old,
depending on their age.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's not only that, but it's like being the youngest and the only woman is kind of cool, just because I'm like, not that I mean, this is a more male dominated industry, I would say. But it's cool that I just like get the opportunity. And again, I'm sitting in there and I am quite quiet just because I'm just doing a lot of listening. But it's great because a lot of those, probably half that group was the first time I had met them in person, or like long enough for me to like make it my first time. Maybe I like met them in passing at a conference. But some of them I have met many times, like Will, I've met a lot, but some of them was my first time meeting them.
Ross,
Yeah.
Alternative Plastics. Yeah.
Oh yeah, sorry. Will
I
Ross,
got to catch
Alternative
myself doing it
Plastics.
too, so I'm not just giving you a hard time.
But a lot of them I hadn't met in person, or I had communicated with them over email before. And, we would just sit down at the table or sit down at dinner, and like you would just kind of sit next to some, like you didn't like, I don't have like a girlfriend there. So it's just like I'm sitting next to whoever. And so many people mentioned, I love you on the podcast.
Yeah.
Like the podcast is great. Like,
It's awesome.
You're doing a great job.
Just, we all went to like Dave and Buster's one night, and everyone was just so nice. And it's like, it's not an uncomfortable feeling. It's for me to be around everyone. It's almost just kind of like not intimidating. I can't really describe it. You kind of feel like the underdog a little bit, obviously, just because of age and just experience. But then it's such a cool opportunity because it's like you're surrounded by so many experienced people that it's like, I don't know, you're like, any of your questions can be asked. You can learn so much from so many of these people, and they're like willing to act like, and I know any one of those people would help me.
Yes.
Like if I were to like, because they even asked about the podcast and like, how's it going? Or you sound great. I listened to it. And it's like, that's so nice to even say. So that's really nice, but it is, it can be a little intimidating, when you're entering into a new industry and
you're putting yourself
you're
out
younger
there.
too. I feel like that's the biggest thing, is the age thing.
So I've got 2 young daughters, as you know, Sam.
Yeah.
It is a big driver for me to get more women in this industry. And I think you're touching on something that's a big deal, because you are like one of, let's just say, the recycling conference that you went to. How many women would you say you saw there?
When I saw you in DC?
Yeah. So you're talking in a room, typically you're probably 1 in 20.
Yeah, I was going to say 1 in 20.
And
you're like walking down
that
an
can be intimidating.
aisle or like looking at the booths.
So if you're a young woman going in there and you don't have Mitch and you don't have Adam and you don't have
I've had
your
some weird
crew,
experiences too.
that's tough. It's really tough walking
It's
in
like
there.
if you don't
Everybody
know
feels
them
like
or
they're
you
gonna
haven't
date
met,
you
or
something. Or
it's so unfortunate too because
is.
it's like, first of all, like it's 2025. Like you have the internet. Like come on, I'm not like the
Tinder's
best looking
running
thing,
around.
best
You can
looking thing
easily-
you've seen today. Like let's grow up. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
Oh, I love it.
Like seriously, like
Yeah.
that's so weird. That's the number one thing I think is like, really.
Yeah,
But
and
then
it
it's
is
also
awkward.
it's like it's not that great. Like that's, and if it is, that's so sad. But that's happened before. It is weird. It's true though. Like
I
it really
know.
has,
I know what
especially
you're
at like
saying.
those little after parties when like people are drinking and it's like I am younger, but it's just I mean, yeah, that happens and it's sucky to say, but like that's just like being a woman. That's just like how it's gonna be. And it's like it doesn't really bother me. Like I'm not gonna go like
Well, it
it's-
bothers me with young girls.
Well, yeah, of course, but like it's like just I'm not gonna like that's unfortunately that's just like in a male dominated industry. That's just like sometimes people are gross and like that's just gonna happen. And so I try to just be myself and like be friendly and show that I'm interested in like the industry and learning. And like I pick up the vibes. Like I'm not, like I can feel it out, and I usually do walk around with a teammate.
You should.
Because
So, like,
I do.
I think
I do regardless of how they treat me, just because
Yeah.
I'm a little insecure in there.
And then that's
It's
probably
overwhelming.
the right thing to do. But
Yeah.
So for me, we talked already about how those kind of events can be great ways to network, great ways to learn, and I agree with that. But I think when Michael and I talk about that, we talk about it from a male perspective because we don't have that level of intimidation. Because I don't know, I got a 5 head, I'm a little fat, I'm 40. Nobody's coming up to me at that damn show like, hey, are you single? Like,
I will.
that's not an issue for me. Like, I've never had that as a problem. So, like, I can only imagine starting out in a new industry, walking into an event like that, not having that same security of like, hey, you're mid-40s and nobody gives a damn.
Right. I know.
It's just a different environment.
Yeah,
So
honestly,
it's
and
tough.
that's like a big reason. There was like one incident, I think it was at NPE, maybe some like party, and it was like a few things in one night from like many different people, and it was really overwhelming. And then I told Mitch, I was like, I don't want to go to like these conferences anymore. They're real
Shame.
Yeah, it was really uncomfortable.
I'm gonna have to bleep that, but yeah.
It was pretty uncomfortable, and it's like it's just like hard to even like explain because it's so annoying because it's like I do want to go because again it's like how Mike you said in person, like that's the huge thing, and it's like I have so many connections on LinkedIn, and it's like I haven't really met a lot of them, and that's the main place where I would. So yeah, it's like it's not that I don't want to go because I don't want to learn or I don't want to network or connect. It's just like it's about something so much bigger, and it's like I would never, and this is so sad, but like I would never go up to an all-male booth by myself.
Yeah.
Like never. So it's like it just has taken conferences and made them like about something totally different.
So how often have I talked about how I want to drive more women to this industry?
Yeah.
And then I hear you talk about this, and I'm like, I don't know if I want to do that anymore. And what's a real shame to me is our industry would be so much better, and we would have better salespeople. We'd have better leadership if we had more women in our industry. But we do such a shitty job of drawing women because we've got a bunch of creepy old dudes running around this industry.
Yeah.
And we just need to cut those people out.
Yeah, I think time's going to be on our side there. I mean,
I think we may cut up most of this out too, because you tell me, Sam, because I don't want you to feel like the stuff that we're talking about.
No, I don't care.
Okay. All right.
Well, I just wanted to share something real quick on this topic. So I had the luxury of working for some great teams. And so I was in sales leadership when at my prior company. And I mean, when I left, I had a team of 6 and 3 of them were female. They were my best reps, right?
Mhm.
And there were a lot of reasons for that. Touching on a little point that you're bringing up here, Sam, I mean, it was, we knew that people would see the female rep. So we didn't hide from that. The nefarious reasons are wrong and need to be got out of our industry. But a smart, powerful woman salesperson that is technically solving problems.
They have a level of empathy that we don't have. There's just so many things that women do better and make them better salespeople than we.
Yeah, I will say honestly, some of it has come as like a blessing in disguise. Like some of it is, like people want to talk to me. They like talk to me.
Conversation starter, I guess.
Yeah. So like it is, and it's like since I am one, I'd like stick out in a crowd of a plastics conference. Like I said, like if you see my LinkedIn, you'll know who I am. So it's like it is, and it's not like, maybe that all sounded a little dramatic. It just has happened before. But it is dramatic, like,
by the way.
Okay.
Yeah, maybe cut some of it out, but whatever.
Well, it's up to you. I'll let you listen to it and then you tell me if you're comfortable with it.
No, but I think it is also like nice because you don't see like a young woman in the industry. So it's like when you do, it's kind of like, oh, like let's like what's this about, or let's hear what she's doing. Yeah, it's kind of like you want to, and it's like when another woman sees me, it's like you're automatically kind of like friends. So it is cool. And like there are so many like, even I say like older men, but like I don't know, like
there's old white guys in this industry.
But there are so many that are like so kind. Like I said, like the whole group that I was with back in Denver, like it's so nice, like just to like hang out with everybody, and like you feel like you're more like just friends or colleagues than it's more just than that. Yeah, it feels very. So it really just like you would feel that way anyway with a stranger, and that's what a lot of people are at conferences. They start off as strangers, so like it's just. The name of the game.
Yeah. So we talked about how important it is to find a mentor in order to be good at sales or good at anything, really. Sales is just the vehicle that we're talking about right now. I can imagine it would be much more difficult being a young female in a male-dominated industry to ask for that type of help and to like go out of your way to find a mentor that's not a woman. That doesn't also understand, but that's tough to do, right? Because there's not as many of you in this industry. So finding a woman who has 10, 15 years of sales experience, that's tough to find.
Yeah, I have made a lot of connections just like working, like emailing back and forth with women at different companies. I remember I like made a mistake once when I first started, and I said like, oh, so sorry, like I'm still new to this. And she was like, oh my God, like I've been doing this for 25 years. Like if you ever have a question, like please, like don't be afraid to ask. She was so nice. And like, not that I didn't think she'd say that, but I just wasn't expecting it. And it's like, I talk to them about the same thing every week, but it's like, I know that I could be like, hey girl, like, what do you think about this? Or like this, and this, like, it's almost like we know each other at this point because we've communicated so many times. But yeah, it is. And I've experienced like having a mentor before who wasn't female, and did not work out.
Yeah.
For that exact reason. So I feel like, again, I just feel like I'm in kind of a position where I just kind of got lucky that it was like my brother.
Yeah.
And Alex is like my brother. Like, he is like one of my best friends, honestly. Like we get along so great. We don't get along so great on bad days. So it's like my whole team is just really great. I think I got lucky, but I also think it's just starts with like who you work for and who you work with, because they're only going to surround you with people who like they would feel comfortable.
Yeah.
Like if you're a man or a female, like it's like they would never put you around people who like are not going to like. And then if they do, when you say something, like you'll probably never see them again.
They'll solve that problem immediately.
Right. So I think
if they
it's
don't,
just,
they're not the people you thought they were to begin with.
Yeah, I think it's just you have to, who you work for or who you work with, if it doesn't work with them, like get out. because
So
it's
how do
not
you
going to
make
work.
that like a universal piece of advice, though? Like for another young female trying to get into the business. Sometimes you don't control. Sometimes you don't have the brother there,
Yeah.
or you don't have that family environment, and they
Mhm.
still need the mentor. Like how do we solve for that? I don't have an answer. I'm curious if anybody on this
Well,
discussion
I think
has
that,
one.
like, I mean, I sit alone with you every week.
Yeah.
And I've met Mike in person, and like it honestly, like I said, I mean, technically we're not working together day to day,
Mhm.
but I think that I hate to be like the one who's like vibe check, but it's like, if, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
if you're feeling that it's just like a comfortable person, then like, I know that's not really an answer, but that's like the only thing that I could say really.
The only thing that I had to add to that is we just need to do a better job of connecting women in our industry. I know there's, Plastics News is doing a really good job of trying to
Breaking the
highlight
mold thing.
breaking the
Yeah.
mold, which is awesome. There are some
We
of
got
the
to sign
events-
Sam up for that, by the way. I'm going to do
Yeah.
that.
we gotta
Just so
sign
you
some-
know, you're getting
Okay.
signed up for that thing.
I don't even know what you're talking about.
All right, we'll talk about it later.
But some of the shows, right, have I noticed, like even MPE, really more of a focus on at least getting everybody together, right? Getting the women together so that you can network and build, so that it's not just your pocket of your company or your small region.
Mhm.
There are people out there. It's just hard because
Yeah.
I can't even imagine how hard it is because I'm not in your shoes. So
I mean, like I said, like this, it's like it's funny, but not funny. It's like, this isn't like a first timer. Like this is just like life as a woman, guys.
Yeah. No,
Walking through a conference isn't like,
and to be
like,
clear, this
anything
isn't just a
show-stopping.
plastics problem.
Right.
So I'm not trying
Yeah.
to say, hey, plastics
No,
industry's
no.
got more creeps than usual. I just
No,
think
no,
that
no.
it's life for you.
That's what I'm saying, is that
Yeah.
it is just life. So like, yeah, it's unfortunate, but at the same time, it's like you're gonna catch a creepy guy at the grocery store, Like that's just kind of how it is.
It is
And
kinda
I'm
how it
sure
is.
there are
It
some creepy
sucks.
women out there too who are
I haven't
catcalling.
run into very many creepy women.
Well,
but-
you know what I'm saying.
Yeah. I know.
Is it like sometimes, but I do think it's just, I don't know. I don't really know. I don't have an answer on how you would kind of find that mentor. I think it's maybe just find that one person at work. Like every job that I have had, I feel like I've had just like the one person who you can kind of read the tone of it if they're like
Yeah.
on your side.
Your vibe
if they're
check.
you're
Yeah.
vibe checking them,
Yeah.
and it's just kind of like, and then go to them and be like, who have you talked to that's kind of good? Or like I guess your mentor doesn't really have to be from your company.
Yes.
So like if you prefer to be a female, then like go connect with someone on LinkedIn and kind of talk to them.
Yeah.
Like just do something that would make you most comfortable, and like if you get rejected, then like, I don't know, block them.
Block them, tell them to go away.
move to the next one.
Yeah.
So I want to tie all this back into sales, and because I think this is a sales centric problem for women, not just sales of plastics. It could be sales of anything. You're going to have this because you're going to run into, because business decision makers have always seemed to be older white guys. And if you're trying to make sales, you're probably running into a lot of that. So it's, I hate to say, hey, women, listen to this story of Sam getting, but I think it's good to have eyes wide open walking into these
Yeah.
things. And I think it's good to raise awareness for people within our industry. So that way we can make it better.
Yeah, and I
And-
hope those men listen to this.
Yeah,
And
I
I
do
remember
too.
you.
I am so proud of you. That may be
Oh.
patronizing, but I'm going to
that's
say
sweet.
it anyway, because it does take a lot of guts to do what you're doing right now. Is step back in and say, you know what, to hell with those people. I'm going to do this, and I'm going to be successful at this, and I'm going to find the right people that are going to make me better on a daily
Yeah.
basis.
Because I
And-
think like, how cool would it be if I got like put on top, and then I'm like looking down at all of them, and I'm like,
yeah,
yeah,
those same
you were,
guys
like,
are working
yeah,
for you
yeah.
now.
That's kind of like what I think is like that would be a cool outcome. So like,
I don't believe in karma, but
really,
in that case, I think I might make
I
an
do.
exception, because that would be phenomenal. Like
Well,
that person works for you.
That's the perfect sales mindset, right? I mean,
It is.
I'm a big Angela Duckworth grit, right?
I
Like,
don't know that one.
I definitely check out grit.
Mhm.
It's about the whole premise is tied to sales, right? It's you got to go through things and experience them, but it's about getting back into the mix and doing it again, and you're going to get better, because of it. And you're doing that, right? And that's what you need to be successful when you cold call. It's what you need to be successful when you're just trying to make it work in sales, right? You're getting back
Yeah.
in the ring, and it's good.
To hell with those guys. I'm going to show them that I'm going to be successful, and you
Yeah.
will be.
Yeah.
You're in the right
Mhm.
situation. You're going to be, and you already are, to be completely
Thanks, guys.
clear. So I'm going to say that this is probably the least plastic centric
I know. I
episode
feel like
we've
we
ever
went out
done.
on a tangent a little bit.
And I honestly think this might be the best content we've ever created. So I love it. I think we need to do more of these kind of discussions. Sam, you mentioned that maybe we should have every couple week, let's talk about something that's like really interesting to us. And it may not
Mhm.
even be completely plastics germane or focused or whatever. I love it. Let's do more of that. And because honestly, I love the plastics industry. I want to support the people in the industry. I know Michael's doing the same with his show. He's trying to help people get better at sales. I also want to help people just in general. I don't think it necessarily needs to be, hey, let's talk about plastics every week. Let's talk about stuff that we're going through and how we can be better.
Mm-hmm.
I love that. And I want to do more of that.
Me too.
I think it's great. I mean, after
So-
all, we're all humans, right? And
Exactly.
we just choose to fight the good fight for a great part of the materials industry.
So since we did get off topic, I do want you to talk a little bit more about Resin Smart by RTI. I had to think through it for a second. I was going to say it wrong again.
Yeah, I am gonna have to go in a second.
All right. Well, we'll make it a quick snippet.
A quick snippet. Listen, this has been a great conversation. Resin Smart, we're here to help. If you buy a plastic pellet and you want to get better with your pricing or whatever your metric is within your plastics procurement organization, we're here to help. For folks that have been doing it forever, for folks that are just getting started, it's all about getting better every day. And, we're here to help. Iron sharpens iron. And if there's anything we can do to be a part of that, just reach out directly to me. Check out our show, learn a little bit more. ResinSmart.ai is our new revamped, launched website. So,
And I guarantee it's better than mine. Website I made for this thing. You could tell that some middle-aged dummy put it together. But I'm going to have Sam fix it for me because
we had a lot of help with it. Let's
Yeah.
just say that. We had a lot of help.
But anyway, Michael, I really appreciate what you're doing. I appreciate you taking the time. I appreciate you having this conversation with us because I think this was great. I honestly think if this isn't the best episode we've ever made, it's pretty damn close. So I want to continue the conversation. Love to have you back on. Love to be on your show to support you. And we'll put you in the show notes so everybody can get in touch with you. But for Sam, Justin Riney, Michael, thank you so much. Everybody have a great night.
All right. Thanks so much.
You want to learn more about the plastics industry, recycling, check out these other videos. Please like and subscribe.